Miss Rai, is it okay if we use crayons?
You can try. I think it's gonna be hard, but you can try if that's all you have.
Because, you know, the one I sent you yesterday, I used my daughter's crayons.
Oh, okay.
See, with the green?
Oh, that's why you had grain, because you used the crayon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what gave it texture.
Okay.
Um, yeah, if see the waxy crayon has more texture. There are ways to break it down. But you're not going to have it. There's a terpenoid oil and a cloth that would break it down and make it smoother. A colorless blender would break it down and make it smoother, but you probably don't have any of those supplies. So you just do the best you can until we get done with this lockdown.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so I've used this template. I've created a design. Very simple, basic. I'm using my mechanical pencil and it's graphite. I'm using, I think I'm on the bond paper. Yeah, I'm on the bond paper. So usually I wouldn't use bond paper, but for right now, I'm going to. Okay, so I could put some color on this, and I don't think I have done this yet with you guys, but I thought I would start introducing it even though you don't have the supplies. And I'm going to put down a base of color. So bond paper has texture, and it's really good for, I'm putting a little computer paper underneath there just so it doesn't bleed through. It's really good for shading and for pencil work. You can do marker on it. It's just that it absorbs more. So it's nice for a beginner because it's not going to bleed. It's going to absorb more. But when you put the marker on top of graphite mechanical pencil, it can bleed a little. The pencil can bleed a little into the marker. So you can try not to get close to it, or you could go over it with ink, and that would help it not bleed. Usually I'd be using the marker paper, but right now I'm going to just do it with a bond paper, because most of you probably just have computer paper or something similar to drawing paper at the moment. I don't think anyone has marker paper yet. I don't think. Okay, so when I put the ink over it, it keeps that graphite from blending into the marker. Yeah, see, it doesn't smear anymore. So that's one way to lock it in. Another way is to not draw with a mechanical pencil, but to draw with a waxy pencil, the Prismacolor pencils, because they won't smear with the marker. They'll actually hold up really nice. So I'm going to just ink it. And you usually have to wait a few minutes just for it to dry, because if it's too soon, it might smear the ink. But yeah, it's smearing just a little bit. I kind of don't mind it because it looks like a shadow. But it's quick drying. It's quick drying than most markers. This is the Micron, and it's archival ink. It'll last forever. So when you use the marker, it has a fat tip. It'll go on really fat, or you can raise it at a different angle and it'll go on really thin. So you learn to sculpt with it. So you can go fat and you can go thin, and then you can flip it and it looks like a paintbrush. So it's just a little twist, and I'm changing the angle. And so it looks quite nice when you're trying to do gathers. You can get sculpting, or hair. It's nice for hair because I can sculpt it and it looks really pretty. Okay, so if I let that dry 10 seconds, it will go on in another layer and it'll be darker. So if I let it dry and then I go on it again, I'm going it twice because I didn't wait 10 seconds. So here's one, here's two, and you can see the difference in value. So if I've let this dry for 10 seconds, I can come back in and put some more value on it. Okay, so you don't really see it that much yet, but I'm going to show you the difference between how this works and how marker paper works. So I'm going to get a sheet of marker paper. So both papers are see-through, the bond paper and the marker paper, but they have different characteristics. The bond paper is got a little texture to it, and the marker paper is super slick. So I think of the marker paper as like ice skating with a pair of skates. You can just glide on the surface, and that's what the marker does. It glides on when you use the marker paper. Now the marker paper has one side that is going to saturate the marker and be darker and cover more area than the other side. One side is really good saturation, and the other side, when you put the marker on, it goes on kind of pebbly. And so we always want to use the side that's going to make it darker and more saturated, which is usually the back side of the paper. So you can experiment to figure out which side it is, but usually it is the back. So one of the ways I experiment is I take a lighter marker, like one of the beige colors for doing flesh. No, let's see. This is, well, this might work. I fold the paper, which you can't see what I'm doing. I fold the paper and I take this light color, and you can see that it's darker on this side. So that means I want to be on this side when I add the marker, because this side makes it darker. Okay, so I'm going to, and I'll show you. I think it'll still show you. So this is bond paper. This is marker paper. So I'm going to go on here. Yeah, you may not be able, because it's all going to depend on how well the camera sees this. Because it looks pretty good from here. But if I flip it over, this went on a lot darker.
Miss Rad,
Yes.
what brand of markers are you using?
Oh, I am using Prismacolor Premier.
Okay, thank you.
So, yeah, I think it's hard to see with the camera because they probably look identical, but this side is a lot darker, and this is the back side of the paper. So, and say you forgot to flip your paper over, all you have to do is do both sides, and then you'll get a nice saturation. But I usually always flip my paper over so I can use the side that gets the darker color. But you can see when you compare the two, the bond paper and the marker paper, how much nicer the marker paper takes it. Okay, so you can see the front is grainier, the back is covered more. I don't know if you can see the difference. And then this is the bond paper, and this is the marker paper. It's much better on the marker paper. So I'm going to do another row here so you can see. So with one marker, if you let it dry, you can keep getting different values. This is light, this is medium, and this is dark. And I just keep letting it sit for 10 seconds And so when I come back here now, because I waited longer, I can get a little more change with the marker. I got a little bit. But when I do it on the marker paper, now watch. I'm going to see a lot more change. So it's nice when I want to show shadow under the arm. I want to show a little more shadow in the folds. A little shadow under the arm. So this one, that's my first layer. I'll let it dry. So I can also take 2 markers. So that's kind of a light, that color is called carmine red. So if I take another marker, it's a little darker, this one's called crimson red. I can either use a sheet of tracing paper, which I'm going to go find some. I don't know where it is. I laid everything out, but where did I put it? Let's see. This is the tracing paper that I like. And so I'm going to use a sheet of it. And what I'm using it as is a palette. So you can use any kind of plastic like this. I could use, it's plastic, saran wrap, wax paper, or tracing paper. So if I take this darker red and put it on my tracing paper, I can come in here with my lighter color and get a little bit darker. And then when I put it on, it's going to make it darker, and it's actually going to wear off. It'll go red for a while, and then it'll wear off and go into the darker, to the lighter color. But this is another way to create depth. Okay, if I want to dry it off, I can get a sheet of bond paper and scrub it, and the darker red will come off, and it'll go back to the lighter color. Oops. Yeah, now it's the lighter color. So this is still the same light color, carmine red. I'm going to add another row. So you can see it's slowly changing, but it looks much better on the marker paper than it does on the bond paper. Okay, so this is dried for about 10 seconds, and I'm going to layer it. I can also go directly on. It's a little more dangerous to go directly on because I want my strokes to be tapered so it looks like a paintbrush did it. And while it's wet, it'll show some contrast. So using 2 markers, so I've got the carmine red and I have the crimson red. That will build value. Another way to build value, change, is to use a colored pencil. So the colored pencil, so I'm going to pick a darker red. I have a few pencils. Okay, so I have a couple pencils. I'm going to pick a darker red. Okay, so this one's called Tuscan red, and this one's called something weird. It's Scarlet Lake. It has it in some other language too. So I can, how did I lose my tracing paper? Oh, it fell on the ground. Okay. I can use some of that Tuscan red here and some of that Scarlet Lake here. Take my lightest value, and I could come in here, get the darker color, and as I move it around, it breaks down that waxy, and it makes it a little darker. So I just have to keep scrubbing it till it blends it real good. And then I could come in here and add more value change because the waxy pencil broke down and it gave me a little bit more depth. I can also put the pencil on, but stroke it in one direction. Don't go back and forth, just one direction, because one direction will give me a soft application. and it'll look soft and nice. And then go back over it with my lightest value. I can even scrub it a little to blend it, and that will also give me more depth. And so you can see I've gone out of the lines a little bit, not on purpose, just because I make mistakes. So I can take my thicker marker and just go a little thicker and then thin. And it just looks like a nuanced line and a shadow. Sometimes I can fix it, sometimes I can't. But if it's in areas where I could actually have a shadow, I can just make it a little thicker and it'll look fine. It'll just look like part of my nuancing. So I put it a little thicker here because I want it to look like it tapers and that's an opening. So that's fine for that. But say I went out of the line a little too much and I don't like it. Okay, there's another way to fix that. I could take a colored pencil. So keep in mind that when you're looking at something, the darkest colors are going to attract your attention first. So I don't want my background to be darker than my garment because I'm going to be distracted. But if I take a light color, and I'll just put some over here too, and it's just going to hide some of that area where I went out of the lines. Okay, so that's a Prismacolor Premier Wax Pencil. It's called Kelly Green. So I put that down my background purposely to hide some of my sloppiness. And then I'm going to take a marker that's called a colorless blender. And it has a little more alcohol in it than the colored markers. And it looks just the same, but it says colorless blender. So I got to find it in my little case of, I just dropped all those. Okay, so this is my colorless blender. It doesn't have anything on it. You should always check it on a scrap piece of bond paper, make sure it's not dirty. And no matter how many times I tell you that, I make the same mistake and forget to check it. But now it's colorless, so when I go on top of the waxy pencil, it's gonna break it down and make it a lot smoother. And it just looks like a mist of green cloud behind my garment. And it pretty much takes my attention away from the fact that I went out of the line right here. Might make it a little darker so it just looks like a shadow. And it's a way to camouflage. I picked up a little of that wet ink, which I didn't mean to, but I'm just blending it out so it looks smoother. So it breaks down the wax and it just moves it out a little bit more so it's very soft and not disruptive. And it looks nice. So I've had several different ways I could have got more color. So you can see now, this is light, little darker, a little darker, 3 times. And then as it dries, I'll do it some more. So I'm going to review what I just did. I did it on bond paper first. Bond paper has more texture, so you can see the texture picked up. I made it in graphite, my mechanical pencil in graphite, which will smear the marker. But if you put ink over it, it can stop it from smearing. If you use the marker paper, you could actually just flip it over and do the sketch on the other side, and then you wouldn't be smearing the graphite. The bond paper is okay for markers. It's just got more of a textured surface, so it's going to absorb more marker, which is nice for a beginner because they don't want it too wet because it's hard to control in the beginning. But the marker paper will definitely give a better product. It's smoother, it shows more contrast. So I can get contrast just by layering a marker, letting it dry 10 seconds and layering it, or by blending 2 markers together. I can blend them on a palette, which can be tracing paper or plastic or wax paper or a report cover that's made out of plastic, but I can use anything that has a little slick surface to be my palette. I can use waxy pencil and break it down. I can use a colorless blender to break it down. The colorless blender has more alcohol in it, so it'll break it down faster. The colored marker is not as much, but it'll still break it down and it adds the color too. So I can also add a darker pencil to my sketch and then blend it with colorless or the same lighter color, and it'll build it up. So I've given it shadow more on one side than the other. In fact, I will make that clear that there's actually more on one side than the other. And doing that, that created my light source. I can tell my light source is coming from here. I have more shadow under the arms and in the folds. And if I wanted a little bit of shadow right here in this fold, and maybe a little more in that fold, well, that's a wrap over, but then I could scrub it and I get a little bit more. So it helps. I could take a lighter pencil and go over the highlighted area where the top of the fold is going to get the light hitting it. The top of the bust is going to get the light hitting it. Any area that protrudes, like a kneecap, or maybe your hip is swinging to one side and the fabric's moving off of that hip, the top of the folds will get a little bit of white. So I come in with my, now this is a wrong pencil. I didn't mean to put that in there. This is not a waxy pencil. That's why it wasn't working. It's supposed to be only waxy pencils in here, but I must have accidentally snuck that in. You need to sharpen them too. If you try with something like that, it's not going to work. So I'm going to sharpen it. And so I will be repeating some of these lessons when you guys get supplies. Okay, the waxy goes on nice. So in some of the folds on the top of the bust, I'm adding a little highlight. Maybe the top of the shoulder is getting some highlight, and the top of the folds. And it just helps. Yeah, it helps pop it up. I need to get a line there. So I don't put marker on top of white. Once I put the white down, that's it. There is another white that will go even brighter on top of a color, and it's a charcoal white. So I'm going to put it here so you can see it actually goes whiter than a waxy pencil. So if you need a good, well, that was the wrong one. This is the charcoal, this is the waxy. It's just a little brighter white. But they're totally different. So charcoal is going to sit on top. Like say maybe I wanted to write love. Okay, it's going to sit on top and it could smear if I smeared it, but it's going to be brighter. If I need a brighter white, I'm going to use the charcoal. But the waxy's fine and it'll stay. But you can't put charcoal on top of wax. It won't work. So if you're going to do one or the other, just don't mix them because it won't mix. Okay, so now you can see some depth in these different choices. But of course I understand we still don't have supplies yet, but at least I can start giving you some lessons. So, and it's very subtle, the changes, but this is Prismacolor Carmine Red. And this one is Crimson Red. And if you blend the two together, say you don't have any tracing paper, you can actually do it like this. Take the lighter color and kiss it onto the darker color, and that will give you a blend. So it will show the difference. Here was the red, and here is the carmine red. And it works. I have just a small difference. So that's adding the two together. So you can stretch out your color range by blending two markers together. So now you can see, this is bond paper, layout bond. And this is marker paper. So if I'm using my template, which, where did I sticker? I use this one. Okay, so now I've got the dress on there. I'm going to put some flesh tone on her skin. So I'm going to pick a lighter value. This is called brick beige. And the lighter markers and the darker markers are completely different when you apply them on a figure. The lighter colors don't show streaks. The darker colors will show streaks. So I have to use different methods when I use them. So I'm going to give you a darker color so you can see. Here it is, dark umber. This one's called brick beige. This one's called dark umber. So when I put a darker color down, usually it won't be so saturated. It'll show some pebbly texture. This one actually worked better. You always have to saturate both sides when you do the darker color. And so I'm going to do her flesh tone lighter color first, so you can see lighter colors are easier, but you're going to learn both. Okay, so when I apply the marker, I'm going to go in circular motion because it'll saturate and blend better. Okay, the inside, but the outside, I'm going to use my edge so that I can get it smooth. So I don't know if you can see from your angle, and I don't know if I brought it up closer, you could see, but it's a little pebbly. It's not always pebbly when it's a pale color, but this one is. So that means I need to saturate the back. So usually it's not. It could be the age of my marker. But some of my markers have lasted years. If you always remember to put the lid back on, I usually wait to hear the click to know I've got it on. And then they should last. Okay. It's not bad. But I'm going to saturate the back because I don't like it. It does look a little pebbly to me. Okay, now it's a smoother saturation. So what I want is I want the inside of the arm a little darker. I want to show light source. Under the knees, I will have it a little darker. You can leave a little white paper if you want to highlight. So I left a little white paper on these shoes. Like, wait, did I lose you?
Yes, like a little an icon with a black
Yeah.
screen.
Thing happened. Oh, it quit videotaping. What's it doing? I don't know why my iPad did that. Let me see. Oh, it's warning me it has a low battery. I have to plug it in. Not a problem. Hold on. I don't know why I unplugged it in the first place. Okay. It's just telling me, wake up, give me some juice. Okay. Now, switch. There. Okay, what's it doing now? Switch camera. There. Okay. Move it over just a little. Is that better? Or should I move it over here? This is better. I don't know why I get that double screen over there. I haven't figured out why that does that. Okay. So I can take and I can layer it and get it a little darker on one side. Or I can take the marker and mix it with a darker color and build it up a lot quicker. So I'm going to get a darker color. Let's see. I will get one of these darker colors. This is light walnut. So instead of going on, that doesn't look that much different. I'll go a little bit darker than that. Let's see. That might be too dark, but we'll see. Not bad. So I'm adding some darker value to the inside of the arm, the inside of the neck, one side of the face, and the inside of this arm, so that you can see the value change. And I might put the clavicle there. And then under this knee, I'm going to add a little bit of the darker. So it's like a triangle shape. And the back leg, I'm going to make it all darker because the front leg is blocking it all the way. Okay, so now I have built some shadow up. I'm going to outline it so you can see the detail. Okay. Okay, so you can see a little bit of the detail now, how I'm building it up. So another way to add some value change to the flesh is to use pencil. So I'm going to use a lighter brown pencil. So I've got one that's called Sienna Brown, and I have one that's called Chocolate. So you can see both. And I could put it on with colorless blender, or I could put it on with the lighter flesh color. So my colorless blender has a little bit of that red on it. So I'm cleaning it off on my bond paper and getting all that red off of my colorless blender. Now I'm going to come into the first one, the lighter one. It's making it a light brown. And I can come in here and just add even more value change. And if I think it's enough, maybe I'll go into the darker one because it's really not enough. So it breaks down and then I can get more color on it. So it's another way to add color. It's a little grainy, so I have to blend it really smooth. But I can definitely tell now where the value change is. If it's still not enough value change, I can actually apply it going in one direction directly on the sketch and then scrub it either with the colorless blender or the lighter flesh, the brick beige. Either one will work. But when you use the lighter one, it's going to add a lot more color. And depending on how dark I'm trying to go, I can add a little bit more value change. Okay, so I'm going to finish this sketch using my micron. This is the 03. 02 or 03 are nice for drawing. So my template's underneath. And so a designer has a lot of responsibilities. They have to create designs, they have to create patterns, they have to create samples. And when you're first starting out, you might be doing all of it, and then you eventually can afford people to help make the things. But you may not have time to constantly create your own poses. So you just start collecting a collection of poses so that you can use them quickly and make ideas. I always try to get 3 values in my shoes. So I've got a dark and a light, and I might come in with the sole a little bit darker and leave a highlight just so that I have a little bit more depth. Maybe a little shadow there, so it pops it up. So her upper eyelash is going to be a little thicker. I usually don't draw the whole face in ink. I usually just draw the eyes in ink, and the rest I'll do in pencil. This one I did it all in ink. You can get some flesh. I put a little bit of the pencil on her face, and I'm looking for my brick beige. I can, when I go over this, it'll blend some of that pink that I put on there and give her a little bit of blush. I can use my pencil, get a little shadow on the nose, a little shadow on the eyes, and use my fine point to blend that eye and get the makeup in there. That's always nice. I can use a white gel pen. Now let's see, if I go over this and just click it there. I put a little highlight on the lip. Might put a little highlight on the nose and the eyes. You can put a little highlight on the skin if you want. That'll work. And then I'm going to choose a hairstyle. So my template had a little hair bun. I don't feel like a bun today. So I'm going to decide on a hairstyle. What do you guys want, curly or straight?
Curly.
Curly. Okay, so I'm going to put some little So I'm using ink, and now I'm going to use some pencil. So I want line variety. So I'm getting pencil and I'm getting ink. That's giving me some line variety. I want her hair silhouette. So you have to decide how you want it to look. And maybe I'm going to make it a little diagonal. So whenever I get diagonals, it looks prettier. So that pencil that I was using, I think it's the Tuscan Rouge. It's kind of pretty. It has just a little bit of burgundy in it. I don't know if it clashes with her outfit, but I like it. And I'll mix it with some brown. So I'm trying to get a shadow shape. So I made that a little darker. And I'm using the lighter brown mixed. So I'm using some pencil. And I'm going to blend some of it. You can use your colorless blender, or you can use a lighter value marker. I'll use the colorless blender. And I'm just pulling some of that. And so when the alcohol mixes with that pencil, it really emphasizes the maroon color that it has in it. So my ink is showing up pretty good. I want to use a black pencil just to get a little more contrast with that black marker, so it doesn't hold all the attention, because right now the black marker is strong. So I'm putting a little bit of pencil in there too. So what I'm doing here, I'm trying to get at least small, medium, and large shapes for the shadow. So this is my shadow. And I'm trying to get highlight in there. So I've got some bits and pieces of highlight in there. And I'm trying to get line variety. So I'm getting line variety. And as the comes out farther, the light hits the hair. But let's say I lost most of my highlight. I can always go back in and get a little with the white. If it's too waxy, you're going to have to constantly wipe it off, or it's not going to work. Some pen ink, some of these white gel pens are better than others. This one is got no name on it. It's called Jelly Roll. This one is just another one called Jelly Roll. Still can't see it. So I'm always experimenting with these guys, trying to find some that will show up better. That one's not showing up either. Making a mess. Let's see. Yeah, now this one's working. So you can always get it back in if you lose it. And if you put too much in, let it dry and you put color on top of it. So right now I do like that. So these little markers are really nice. This one is by Sharpie, and it is an extra fine water-based, and I think they quit making it. I think this is the last. I have so many supplies I fall in love with, and then they quit making it, and it's so annoying. But what can you do? I like the zebra one that Amazon sells. Okay, so you can see how nice it is. Okay, so in a regular class, we would, I'd do a demo, not too long to bore the heck out of you, and then we would try it. And then I'd come back and do another demo, but we don't have that luxury here, and we don't have our supplies. So I just keep throwing more demos at you, and I just don't know if I'm overwhelming you with all the things I keep throwing at you. We obviously can't do color yet because we don't have supplies, but I thought I should start showing you how I build color sketches. So yesterday I built this one. Oh, you can't see it. I did this one with sheer and with a floral print. I'm going to do another sheer so you can see how I would do it with markers. So I'm going to get another template. and show you how I would do it with markers. Oh, that's odd. That means someone's at my door. Nobody's supposed to come to my door when I'm teaching. I have no idea who that is. So maybe I can get her right in here. Will she fit? She doesn't fit very well. Maybe this one will fit. Kind of crowded. Maybe I'll just get a fresh piece of paper. Okay, so that is my bond paper. I want the marker paper. Where is it? Here it is. Right here. I don't know how I can lose things when I'm sitting here and they're all arm's distance. Okay, so first thing I do is I'm gonna flip it over because it saturates better on this side. And I want a different girl so I don't get bored. Okay, so let's say my design that I have in mind has a lot of see-through. So I can use, instead of my ink pen like I used for the last one, I could use a Prismacolor pencil, and then it won't, I won't have a problem when I use the marker with it. So I just want this one to be sheer. So it's going to hit the arm, have a little movement. So now I'm drawing it kind of like Jules with a little bell sleeve. And we'll give it a scoop neck and a set-in sleeve. And it comes down the hips, hugs the body. Okay, so it has a little bit of movement. I want it to look see-through. So there's a couple ways I can make it look see-through. I can show the arm in there. So I'm using colored pencils to draw this. Okay, so here's her body. I can show a little bit of leg. That'll help it look see-through. Maybe it'll have a little slip under it. So I'll just show a little slip under it. And maybe it has a little slip here. I can see that slip. Okay, so if I'm going to do it with marker, so I'm on a stack of paper. So that gives me the best chance of it being a smooth application. I am using a soft Prismacolor pencil. So it's really easy to go thick and thin because it is so soft, very easy. Okay. And now I'm going to apply my flesh with my colorless blender. I'm going to show another technique for doing flesh. I'm going to use a really dark marker. So that's dark umber. And I'm going to dip into, I'm going to make sure it's clean first by drying it off on bond paper. So it's clean. I dip into this dark umber, and I'm going to go in the shadow areas first. And as I do it in a circular motion, that dark area, it toned down. It didn't stay dark all the way. And that's because the dark brown or dark umber that I was using, I used it all. And it went back to my colorless blender, which is just a little lighter. So this is a more advanced way to do a watercolor effect, using colorless blender, going in the shadow shapes first, and then letting it blend out. And it gets lighter and lighter as less ink is on my colorless blender. So under the skirt gets a little shadow, under the knee gets more shadow, and it starts fading out. But I still paint with it. It's just a little bit lighter. I want the back leg to be a lot darker because it's not getting as much sun. So I just keep layering it and letting it dry. And then her face. I'm going to start out dark, and then the light hits it, and it gets lighter and lighter. But really what it's doing is just wearing off of it's just wearing off. I cannot use the fat tip because now it's getting harder to get in those little areas. I can use the fine point and get in those little areas and give a little shadow on the nose, on the eyes, the cheekbones. So this is a more advanced way to do it. I'm painting with my colorless blender and I'm layering. So it's a process, and as it dries, it builds color like layers. And so it takes more time, but it can look quite lovely. So I just come in here. I know I'm getting a little more darker in the areas, a little more under the knee. So if I don't like that strong white for the kneecap, it's a little strong, I can go on the back side and just tone it down a little bit. So it's not so strong, but I still get the idea the light hit it. That's another way to do flesh. I painted it on. Okay. Now my dress, I want the lightest value first. So to get the lightest value first, I'm going to flip it over and do the lighter value first. So I'm going to move my template. I don't need it. I have a sheet of computer paper under here. I could have a couple sheets of bond paper. The computer paper is working. It's picking up all the excess that comes out. So I want a lighter value. So I used a green pencil to draw that. So let's see if I have a lighter green. Okay, so I have a couple shades of green. Let's see what I got. So you can see my greens. I have this color, it's called Celadon green. Yeah, it's pretty light. And then I have a parrot green, and this is a dark green. Just one's cool, one's a little darker. So I'm going to start with the lightest color, and I want it to reach sheer. So I am not going to saturate the whole thing. I'm just going to leave a lot of white. And here I'm going to do some of it, but I'm leaving a lot of white. And there's shapes. But I definitely left a lot of white. So I have just bits and pieces of color. That's what I wanted. Okay. So here I'm going to saturate it. I'm going to actually show a lot. So I can tell now that this is a little lighter, this is a little darker, and as I layer it, it's going to get even darker. So I want it a little darker under the bust. So if I mix it with this color, this darker green, I can build some value change. It's so weird today with all the corona. If you get a cough, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't cough. Like it's like something's wrong. Where you never think about it before. You talk too much, you cough. But now if you talk too much and you cough, you get panicked. Okay, so see, I added a little value to pop it up. So I could also add colored pencil and then blend it with a lighter green, and that'll pop it up too. So I can come in here and get a little thick and thin, keeping in mind that it is, so I'm going thick and then thin. And even here I could put just a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay. A little darker and it fades out. A little darker and it fades. So I'm just creating some thick and thin so that it gives it depth. And it leads my eye around. So I'll go on the back side again. I'll just add a little bit of color, but it's very sparse and a lot of white paper. And that just helps it read. And put a little wrinkle in there. And then it helps it read that that is sheer. Right? A little bit more right there. Yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah. So I'm going to give her, let's see. There's her face. I can see her features. Okay, now I need to close my door. We got another dog. A little better. All the dogs have woken up. Okay, so there's my flesh. I can take the fine point. The last time I used that fine point, I think I was doing eyeshadow. So just check it, see how clean it is. Because this time I don't want brown going into, so I'm just blending some of that color. And I could also get a little of that. And I just put it in the cheeks. I just got a little of it. And I put it in her cheeks. That's pretty. You might want to take a little of that red and put a little in your flesh. It's just kind of painterly. Looks pretty. It's just some reflective color and it just livens it up a little. I dropped my marker. Okay, so now I'm going to come in and I'm going to do her eyes. So I'm looking at my template. Her eyes seem a little high. I might lower them. Even though I drew this and I liked it when I drew it and it looks okay. The lower her eyes go, the younger she's going to look. So I'm going to use a little dark brown in the center of those lips, the corners. I'm going to lift them up and underneath. You don't want your smile to get too wide, and I think I just did it. I made it too wide. There are a couple choices I have. If I didn't do it too heavy, I can erase it. And it might erase. Yeah, it erased a little bit. Okay, I'm just going to, where's that colorless blender? Maybe if I bring the shadow down a little. Sometimes a colorless blender can break down some of my shadow. Didn't do it very well. I don't want that nose to be too short, so I'm starting it down here. That looks better. Okay, yeah, I'm going to lower my eyes just a little bit, not much. So where I had the lower lid, I made it the upper lid. I'm going to get her looking over here. Get some brow arch. Okay. Now I got to decide what hairdo. Anybody have a preference what hairdo? No?
Long and curly.
Long and curly. Tight curls or wavy curls?
Tight curl.
Tight curl. Okay. So I'm going to go. Okay, I'm missing a hand. Oh, because I just started it without a hand. Okay, let's see. I'm going to draw with the brown. So I changed this. I don't know if you remember. And the flash. Oh, this was the one I painted on. Let's see. I think I will give her. I'm going to give her a little handbag. I'm debating whether I want. Yeah, I think I will have it. I was going to put the strap on her dress, but then I decided I want to take away from the dress. I kissed it with the darker color. And I got a little bit more shadow. Put the lids on so I can hear the click. I could have cleaned it off on this little scrap. So I got it clean before I put the lid on it. Okay. Oh, maybe I will just give her a little shoe. That looks kind of casual. Colorless Splendor. A little bit more color on the back of this foot. So now my shoe has 3 values, and I have a nice sheer. Now I could add a little bit more. Let it dry a little bit. I have a little bit more ability now to come in here a little darker. So I would have to say most students are always afraid to add the darkest value. They're just so afraid they're going to wreck it after they've gotten so far. And it's going to dry a little. It'll get a little lighter. But it reads sheer, and that's from using markers. There is another way to do it so you get sheer, but you don't use the markers. And that is to add a sheet of tulle underneath. So I can get the same kind of look with sheerness if I use this lightweight tool. So I'm going to show you. So let's say I'll put this here, but I'll change a few pieces of the body so you can see how I would change this body, because I don't want that arm up. I don't know why that arm just kind of bugs me. So I'm going to give her a similar full skirt. Okay, but maybe I will come up here. Okay. So I made it a halter. Looks a little different. They both have the same kind of swing.
Miss Rad, when you said that, it reminded me of the song. It don't mean a thing if you ain't got that swing.
And I could, if I knew how to do it, what's it called? Ain't Got That Swing? Siri,
I don't know. Oh yeah.
Siri, play that song, Ain't Got That Swing. We'll see if I get it. What will Siri tell me?
Hey, there you go.
What good is melody? What good is music if it ain't possessing something sweet? Not the melody and it ain't the music. There's something else that makes this tune complete. Yes, it don't mean a thing. It ain't got that swing. Don't mean a thing. All you got to do is sing. It makes no 'em everything you got. Yes, don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. It don't mean a thing, don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing, boy.
Can you pull it down a little, Miss Rat?
I said don't mean a thing, and all you got to do is sing back. Now it makes no difference if it's sweet or hot. Just to give that rhythm everything you got. Oh, don't mean a thing, boy, if it ain't got a lot of swinger. Take it, Charlie.
That was fun.
It was.
I'm using the flesh and I'm dipping or I'm kissing into the darker umber. And that way I can still see the facial features.
Can you move it down a little?
Oh, I'm losing it. Okay. I layering it so I can see the facial features. So it takes a while to build up the value. But one of the things I did is I rounded that face a little too much. Didn't mean to do that. But I'm in luck because of the hairstyle. I could move the hair out of the way, or I could try and shape it with my ink pen. So I want the cheekbone higher, not the okay, now I lowered the chin a little. So you can see I'm making a few changes on it. Yeah, looks a little better. And I can just make that hair. So I was trying to make it a ponytail, which I kind of like. But now that I messed up my face, it's going to be a little more. So I have just gotten rid of that rounder face. And that works. So I'm just using pressure with the pencil to create a little bit of shadow. And I'll come in with my lighter and I can get some highlights, which is kind of nice. So it's always a little nice to have about 3 colors in your hair. This looks better. So I used, let's see, does this one give me a little bit of color change or is it the same color? A little bit of that burgundy in there. It's kind of nice.
I can't see Miss Rat.
I'm too high.
Yeah. Thank you.
There. I think my camera was getting tired. It kind of shifted.
Yeah, it's a better view now, way better.
Now I'll put maybe some earrings. Yeah. So what do I want to use to show off just a little bit of,
So these are two different dresses.
yeah, two different dresses, one with tulle underneath. They both look sheer. I used lots of white. I might put a little slip on this. So let's see if I put a little slip on it and I use my colorless blender. See if I can see my slip. Yeah, I can see the slip, but it's not very prominent. Yeah, I can tell it's there. It's now let's see if that'll show off a little. Yeah, it doesn't show off much at all. That's a little better. So value change can make a difference. So I'm using the lighter color. I got a little bit more. Yeah, now it's a little more obvious that there's a slip under there. Okay, so my lid, where did the lid go? There it is. So I got the detail in her face, which is what I was trying to accomplish. And now I'm going to go down to the rest of the body. Because if I go too dark in the rest of the body, I can't see the detail on her face. So let's see how I want to proceed from here. I got some choices. I could go on the back side. So I'm going to just experiment because I don't really know how it's going to look either. Just because you've been drawing a long time, there are still times you have to just experiment and see which method works better for what you're doing. Okay, so that made it darker, which I wanted, but it's a little too pebbly, which I knew it would be. But I can come in on this side with the lighter marker, and hopefully I can get rid of the graininess. And it'll look like it belongs. So this is the color that I put on top of that, so you can see. So I was experimenting. If I can get more value change. So let's see. I also could put this is my light walnut. I'm going to mix the light walnut with the dark brown. and see if that will give me just a little tonal change. Not very much. So I pull it while it's wet. That might do it. Yeah, just enough to get it to read. That's good. No. I don't want it pointed, I want it curved. So this is light walnut. It's a little darker than I was using brick beige to blend with. But it's working. I can see the face details. Get it a little smoother. So I built it up. First I used brick beige, now I'm using light walnut, blending into the dark umber. Putting a little of that color into the hair too. Okay, so now I might give it some of that burgundy lips. Might give her a little white. And if it ends up being a little too much, I can tone it down after it dries. Okay, so that's working good. And then I think with the legs, I can go the full strength dark umber. And I'm missing a lid. Here it is. So you can see they're both legs, I'm losing a little definition when I added the second leg. So I can put a little pencil. I'm using black Prismacolor pencil, and now I'm blending it, which is giving me some definition. Okay, so here I put a little bit of value change. But the darker colors, you have to get your shapes thick to thin so it doesn't distract. And I'm putting a little bit more of the darker shadow. Blending some of that black. So it pops up. And then I use, I could use cream. I don't have to use white. And there's also a flesh tone color. I could use that. They both look pretty nice. So I could use that for highlight. I could use that for highlight. It doesn't have to be just white. So let's see which one I like better. Do I like a little pinky highlight, or do I like a little creamy color highlight? I don't know. Can you guys see the difference? Maybe a little creamy this time. So I even put some in the face, but on the face, I'm going to add some blush with the burgundy. And I think I'll blend it with, not that, blending colorless blender. It has more alcohol in it. So you take the risk that as I blend it, it might break it down really nice, but it might leave an alcohol spot. I don't know yet. It's a risk. And if it leaves an alcohol spot, I can always draw some ringlets over it, but it didn't. It turned out really nice. So I have a nice little value change. I could put some of that burgundy color into my skin tone. It's very subtle, but it's actually quite pretty. I usually try not to put any marker over white because it usually just tones down the white and doesn't make it as pretty. So that works. I could have dried off my marker. I forgot to do that. It's colorless blender. I left it with burgundy on it. So one of these was, I don't know where it went. I think it's right here. Get all that burgundy off. So next time I pick up my colorless blender, I get the color that I want. Okay, what I haven't done is outlined the silhouette. I started to right here. So I'm going over it with the 0.8 micron. And I like the 0.8. I also like the zebra markers. I don't know where I put it. Let's see. Is it in one of these jars? Don't know where I put it. Well, I guess I'll just have to use what I've got out because I don't know where I put it. So the ink can give it a finished look. I'm going to give just a little bit of white gel on that earring. Okay. So I've made her shoes shape. Hard to see it because it's darker. So I have a couple choices. I can draw on top of it in a lighter color. This is the cream color waxy pencil. And then
I like that effect.
I can put green on top of the cream color. And now I have green. That looks pretty. So yeah, and now I've got tulle. So this one was done with marker. This one was done with tulle, and I still get a nice see-through effect. So and then my solid color. Cool. How's your attention going? Are you getting weary? stretch your neck around, move around. So let's see, can I put another one on her? If I use this pose and change that arm, and that green is going to run right into it. So I used a Prismacolor pencil before. I'm going to use Scary. I'm going to use ink. So I'm going to give her some pants that have some movement. Can't have too much movement because if she'll go off the page. You can see the drape. She has a little platform on. Okay. And let's see, I'm going to give her what should I give her? So I'm going to put a hand in a pocket. So I'm changing this whole thing. She's got a hand in her pocket. And this one, putting that arm down. Maybe I'll do pleats. That's going to make her hips look huge. But she doesn't have huge hips, so it'll work. And I make this all pleated. Okay, and maybe I'll just put some other texture on that. Okay, so this is my pocket poking out, her hand going in, and then briefly put a little detail. So much quicker when you have a template to use. You just concentrate on your design. So I am going to put another print. So I have some prints here in the cheetah print, little tiger print, a zebra print, and any prints there? No. So you see another kind of print besides a floral. Okay, and I might put some canvas, maybe some canvas and some twill into her. So a canvas is going to have a texture. So I'm looking at my different textures, how they might look. So this one, oh, kind of looks like canvas. Okay, so I'm going to come on here and I'm going to put like a texture right there. Kind of looks like canvas. Yeah, that looks like canvas. So I got my texture. And then a twill, like a denim. I don't know if this will do it or not. Let's see. It kind of looks like a twill, but it kind of looks dotty too. Not quite sure I like that. And this one, doesn't look like a twill. It looks more, well, it is kind of cool though. Let's see if I can find someone closer to what I want. You don't like that? Thank you. Well, that might be my only choice. So let's see. So I got a little value change, so it gives it a little depth. It's not bad. So let's say I wanted that to be denim, that inset. So I have a little, maybe, oh, I have ultramarine. I don't have indigo. What do I do with it? Let's see. So when you're trying to make do with what you have, I don't have indigo, but I have this color, which I used to call Kmart blue, because my mother would take me to Kmart and she said, "Ooh, let's get those jeans." And they looked like that. And I went, "No, that's Kmart blue. I'm not getting those jeans and I'm not wearing them." Let's see. That looks a little dustier. So I mixed the gray, which is really putty. It's gray. And I mixed it with the ultramarine. And now it looks a little more like denim. Yeah. Or I could also, now I don't have my little computer paper underneath. So there's little tricks on how to extend what you have. So I had this brilliant blue, which is not really denim, but okay, see, so now it went a little too far. But I can do things to tone it down. And one thing I did was I mixed the gray with it and it made it look like a denim. The other thing I could do is come back with that little texture that I used. And then I put the dark blue on it, and I don't want it dark blue, and come back and just fade it down with my white pencil. And if that isn't enough to fade it down, I could put my gray pencil over it. That might do it too. Because then it's going to make it dusty again. So there's all kinds of tricks and trades. You just start accumulating all these alternatives and you come up with solutions. So I put the gray over it. It'll tone it down even more. That's cool. So I got some texture, and even this one where I put the canvas look, which I don't know where that thing went. Here it is. Put it back under there. Maybe I want it creamier. Oh, that's losing it. I don't know why. Don't know why. Didn't do what I wanted. Weird. I do not know why. I'm not going to put any more of that on because I don't like what I did to it. But I could also go on the back side, since the paper is see-through, and come in with a cream marker, since I couldn't get the cream effect with the pencil. And I do not know why it picked up. Oh, I know why. Because, yeah, I did that with a black gray pencil. So once I tried smearing on top of it, it made it look more gray. So I'm looking for a marker that has a little more yellow in it. And one of these colors might do the job. This one is, let's see, it's kind of yellowy. This one was eggshell, and this one's called parchment. Man, that one's not as yellowy. So it's the back side, so I want it a little brighter on the other side, or it's not going to show up. So I have one called cream, which is pretty yellow. Okay, so if I flip it over, yeah, now it gave me what I wanted. But I still don't like the effect that white, what happened with that white. So I could try a few things. This might fade it down, but it's dead. It's just, if I smear it, it's going to pick up the gray. So all I can kind of do is maybe go in with a little of this white out. That will tone it down a little. Yeah, that tones it down a little. So there's a lot of alternatives when you do something you don't like the way it looks. Okay, so now I'm going to put a little zebra print in. So the zebra is basically my marker with a little bit of wiggle. A brush tip would work much better to create that look. So I could go. That's going to make it look much better. So it helps if you have some reference to look at so that it doesn't get a little crazy. So you can go on the internet, you can put zebra print. So I'll just get something that gives me some reference. Zebra print. And maybe you want to do a little twist to it so it looks really cool. Ooh, that zebra's face is cool. I don't want to lose that face. I kind of like that. So, yeah. So maybe I'll put, get out of there. I'll put a little bit of that. Ooh, that's so creepy. So the zebra print is going to hide my construction detail of all those pleats. So I might want to engineer this so that it just stays away from those pleats. If I'm creating and designing this, I can change it so I just don't see it. I can decide how I want it to read. So there used to be this really cool place that created artwork on clothing. It was called Clover Canyon. Clover Canyon. And she closed her doors about a year ago. But she had all these artists she hired, and they would just create artwork that was made specifically for the pattern. They would engineer these prints. And she was very successful, but she decided to go into something different. And so here's my print, and maybe I'll only do it on some of it. So this is just an engineered zebra print. It's another avenue for creativity. So it's kind of thick and thin. And I'm using this for inspiration. So maybe it'll only go that far, and I'll decide. Maybe I want a little tail over here. Yeah. Maybe I want my thin line. Yeah, this would be cool. I'm going to just do a thin line in this space. Yeah, so it fills it in, but it quits being so thick. Okay, so that's cool. And then I've got a new design with an animal print that I engineered a print, and it would be made to look like that on it. Okay, So what do I want to do with?
So you're saying, this is just a question,
Yeah.
that like you could make a pattern piece and then have a print like
Yes.
put on it?
Yes, you can. Yeah. Yeah, and I watched it. I did a tour at that factory.
I
You,
like that idea.
you could make like 500 pieces and they could print it all on that one piece. And you could make your garments and it all fit.
Oh, that's so
And
cool.
it doesn't have to be one of a kind. They could do a whole line of it and keep repeating it. So I'm going to take my dark umber, which is a dark brown, and my putty, which is a gray, and I'm going to put it in this hair. And it's a little dirty, so it's got some blue in it, which is kind of cool too. So this dark umber, it's a brown, but when it mixes with this gray, it looks kind of burgundy. So I was trying to make this look like a wrap out of some kind of fabric. And then it hits her ponytail. That is her real hair. And I don't know what I could put in it. Let's see. I have that pencil that I like. It's kind of burgundy. Yeah, I like that. And I might put some of that around her eyes. And just a little bit, so when I do her flesh tone, this flesh tone, I don't even know if it's a flesh tone. It's kind of olive. I don't like that. Let's see, what is this one? This was the eggshell, and this was the brick beige. What else do I have? This is same color. This one is paler. Let's see what I get. I'm not really crazy about it. Maybe I'll mix it with something else. Let's see. Blonde wood. What is blonde wood? Does that look like a skin color? So I'm blending that pretty burgundy into her lips and her face, her nose. I'm going to get some thick and thin. Want music to go with this? What song does it remind you of? Nothing, huh? You all fell asleep? Is everybody asleep?
Like a Prince song. I don't know which one, but like,
It's a song about crimson?
no, Prince.
Oh, about Prince.
Crimson and clover. That one?
I don't know.
Over and over.
We're just gonna have Bill sing.
Let's see what we get.
I'm just gonna fool around, man. Like, just
I love this song. It's classic.
It starts out with them talking. Okay. Colorless blender.
I love these pants, Miss Rad.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, because you haven't colored them in yet in the crotch area, they kind of look like chaps.
Yeah.
They would be cute either way.
It's fun with music. I like dancing.
Go ahead.
Is that too loud?
No.
So did I get too busy?
Yeah.
When should I have quit?
I like I don't like the blue in the middle. I think it would be cooler if it was like black. I think the red and black is cool.
I can fix that. I have a black pencil around here somewhere. I think I can fix that. Let's see if I can find it. Pencil. What did I do? Okay, I'll go back to my box. Here's another one. That's why you should always have two. So when you lose something, you can find it. Okay, so I'm going to change it to black. It may not make a difference because it's coming through the other side. I have to do it on here. So I use this denim. That toned it down a little. And I could get the black marker if I could find it. I don't have it out. I don't have it out, but I have this one. Make it just a little bit more real black in there. That helps it a little. Now it's black. Okay, what about this? Should I change it to the pinky color? Or fuchsia color?
I like it.
You like it that color? Don't need to change it?
No, I like it.
Okay, so I won't change it. Okay, so yeah, it does look like chaps. It could be chaps.
I can't see the whole screen, Miss Rat.
Oh, I think what happens is I start slipping and sliding things and it starts moving. Okay. Okay, so now I've done different colors and combinations. That's bond paper. That was what I did yesterday with sheer and print, but it has a light source. So I haven't done anything to this one. So because it's bond paper, it does better with texture. We did sheer and we did print. So if I wanted to do something with this to play up the texture, now keep in mind that when you add waxy pencil over your sketch, you're limited now by how much you can keep adding marker because it becomes like a swimming pool of wax and marker just kind of sits on top of it. So this is kind of cool to get a polka dot effect. But if I wanted to go back over it with a marker, that wax is going to sit on top and it makes it cloudy if you go on top. Kind of, well, didn't do too bad. But I lose my white. So if I wanted to get it a little darker in some of the shadows, I could build it up on the back. So I'm just doing in the gathers and on one side and under the arms. And it didn't do much of anything. So yeah, I guess I'll have to do it on top because it just doesn't work the other way. But I could go back over it with white because that's cream. And will it show up again? No, it won't. Oh, because I'm not on the texture. No. No, wrong pencil, that's why. It's not wax. I don't know why I had that in there. Yes, now it shows. So the other one made it look more polka dot. This one makes it look a little different. Oh, that's interesting. So if I put a thicker line just on the side furthest away from the light, kind of cool. but it seems to me like it just needs one more value to pop it up. That smeared the black. That I don't think is enough contrast. Let's see. It's not bad. It's not bad. Am I wearing your attention span out? Anybody falling asleep?
No, I've been like watching and trying to get my drawings together.
Let's see. So you'll find as you draw that you want to stay organized. I am not real good at that. I kind of just throw everything anywhere I please. So yesterday when I was sketching, I don't know if you remember, but I was pulling this out, putting markers in it, and there was a little light bulb inside. And I was like, what is that doing there? So I threw it on the floor. And then I forgot about it. And then, of course, I don't have shoes on because I'm out my house.
Oh, no.
I forgot about it. And it wasn't a normal light bulb. It was a, I don't even know where it is, but it had two little steel prongs on it, and it plugs into a device. I stepped on it, and it went right through my heel of my foot.
Oh.
But that wasn't all. I couldn't get it out because it was stuck. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to the hospital with COVID. I go, I got to get this thing out. So I had to go hop around, get pliers, grab it, and just yank it as hard as I could. And it came out. And then I thought, oh my God, I cannot let this thing get infected or I'll have to go to the hospital. So I cleaned it really good. And then I usually go for a walk at 6:30 in the evening. So I go for a walk, didn't feel any pain, was fine. And then in the morning, it hurt like crazy. And I thought, okay, no more walking on it. I got to let it heal because I am not going to the doctor. And lucky for me, I had a tetanus shot about a month ago, so I'm fine.
Yeah.
But isn't it funny? You're at home in your own surroundings. You're just in a little chair and a computer, and I managed to injure myself.
No, I do it all the time. I'm so clumsy. I like slice my like one finger twice.
Oh,
Same knife at like 2 different times. And yeah, when I was in LA, I sell vintage stuff, and I had this like vintage fishing box, and it had like old hooks in it and stuff. And I don't know how, but one of the hooks got outside the box, and I'm like going through like clothes and like organizing, and the hook goes straight through my finger.
and how did you get it out?
I just had to like woman it up and breathe and take it out.
I didn't get
I like took it out, and then I thought the same thing. I was like, oh man, I got to get a tetanus shot. But I'm so clumsy that I recently had to have a tetanus shot too. So I was like, okay, I'm good. So yeah, I just cleaned it.
Oh, does it still hurt?
No. I bang myself up all the time. I'm kind of used to it now.
So this is the bond paper. See how her skin looks so, it probably shows. Yeah, it's not going on with a smooth application. That's why it's nice to use markers. But what does work good with it is pencil because it's designed for pencil. So with pencil, you can just keep.
Sorry.
And you can probably get it smoother. I don't know. But that gives you a little bit of lesson. So we're going to take a morning break. You can go have breakfast and not get injured. I could play music during break if you want. Or you prefer your own music?
Wait, can I show you my fashion figures that I did?
Okay, let's see.
Okay, so this one, oh, not that, but I was doing the one in the middle here.
Wait a minute. I didn't pin it. Hold on. I gotta pin your video and then go for, okay. Oh, cute.
I was trying to copy the one in the middle,
Yeah,
and I did it this one.
looks good. Looks really
And then, thank you. And then, right, I'm working on this one, and I'm
Yep.
using your drawing, this girl, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna work on this one. I should be done before classes.
I think I used that one on one of these, and was it this? No.
Yeah, you did. You used it for her.
Which
I
one?
think you used it for, no, you did use it. I saw you, yeah,
Dropped it
in
on
the
the-
beginning.
I'll find it. But her shoulder is a little big, and that's not your fault. It's my sketch. When I look, it looks okay, but it just seemed like I made it too big. I don't know.
Yeah, so I'm working on that one, so I should be finished with it.
Okay, so you guys go to breakfast and come back in, what did I say, 25 minutes? So we get a little more time to make some breakfast. Okay, you guys want music? No? Okay. You, what food would it remind you of?
Steak and lobster.
Steak and lobster, nice.
That must be a vibrant collection.
Yeah, well, I hope so.
When you look at your mood board, what flower would go with it?
Rose, dried roses.
So are you going to put that in your print design?
You know, I'm already doing cactuses, and I think I want to do succulents because I don't ever see a succulent print.
Oh,
I'm
that's
gonna try and do something different.
yeah. So when you look at your mood board, what city does it remind you of?
It reminds me of the desert.
Okay. So look at your mood board on what fabrics go with it. Have you thought about fabrics yet?
Well, mine would be,
Mine's gonna have a lot of lace in it.
Okay.
yeah. I think mine might have some lace. Definitely like velvet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when
Velvet bell bottoms.
you put your collection together and you put it on some kind of slideshow to present, make your first page have your name and your brand name, and then the season that you're designing for, and what day that it will be delivered. Those things should be on your first page, so you know right away. Your mood board should have the images that reflect the theme, and you can put your brand name on your mood board. I don't know if you've pasted it up or if you can do it on your Google Slides or whatever you use. And so you want your colors labeled, you want your fabrics labeled, you want the trims labeled, and you want to give me the size range, price range. And if you can find it, a lot of brands, you can research and find out what their philosophy is. So you can share it with us. So you want to put their logo, whatever brand you picked, and the season that you're choosing to design for. So your flats are going to have front and back views. You don't have to put the fabrics on your flats. You can label that what fabrics they are, but make your flats just so I can see the garment pattern pieces. You can do at least one call out box so I can see a close-up. And if you put anything like a screen print or an applique, you want to make sure you describe it so I know that that's what it is. Not pretty much if I missed anything.
And this is the brand board you're talking about, right?
Or the mood board, either one, you need to label them so I know.
And the paper that you're looking at right now, you're gonna put that on the module?
Yes, definitely. I have to take notes. That's fine. So what celebrity would be a good spokesperson for your brand?
You want me to answer, or are you just asking?
You could think of one.
FKA Twigs.
Okay. And then what makes your line sustainable, green, and eco-friendly? Have you thought about that when you're putting it together? And would you advertise that?
Normally I would, but like for this brand, I don't know if I could make it as eco-friendly as I would want it to, like want to do my own stuff.
Okay. So think about what your story is behind your collection and how you will hold the consumer's interest. What is your story? How do you differentiate your brand from other brands? So what are you going to bring to that collection that's different?
Well, I know that there's one brand I really like, and every garment that they make, they plant a tree because they know how much fossil fuels that they burn while making their clothing.
Wow.
So if it doesn't, you know, like a lot of these brands, you know, they're not going to give up their brocade, polyester, silk, or, you know, or their polyester velvet because no one wants to give up velvet. I don't know. I really love velvet. So that's just another way of like, you know, we're doing all of this damage, but what can help, you know, is to plant a tree from every purchase.
And where are they planting the trees?
I think they're planting them in the Amazon.
Oh.
This is a different brand. I just read about it. But I picked a different brand to do. So I could maybe have that be like advertised that we'll plant a tree for every purchase. And they'll be a little more expensive, but their clothing just in general is a little more expensive anyway. So
I don't know if you can see this handout, but it's showing different types of prints. So prints can have polka dots in them or florals mixed with polka dots. You saw me mix animal print with floral. It can be dated and look like retro prints. And these all look like retro to me. They can be filled in with marker. This one's filled in with marker. This one is pen brush, a black pen brush. And, or it's, no, this one is done with I read the wrong one, a gray pen brush. And this one's done with a black pen brush. You can collage different fabrics. You can collage wrapping paper, and scan it and make a print. You can make a paisley print. And I will scan this and it will be on the module to give you some inspiration.
Miss Rad, what did you want to get on the first page of our brand board
Oh,
or presentation?
The cover page, your name and your brand name and the logo and the season.
So
you'll show that.
I'm sorry. So it's my name, the brand name.
And their logo and the season that you're designing for. So at least a year out from today.
Okay, so my name, the brand name, the logo, and then the season.
Season. And
Okay.
I will put the delivery day that actually
Okay.
may be made and in the store.
Delivery day. And what if they don't have a logo?
I don't know any brand that doesn't have a logo. They usually do. You think the one you've picked doesn't have one?
I'll look more into it.
They usually have a logo, something that reminds, like when you think of Target, you think of that bullseye.
Yeah.
Usually they have some brand recognition.
Even the font of its name could be the logo.
True.
Yeah, I'm not really seeing anything for a logo.
If you type in the brand name and then put logo and then like put images on
Okay.
Google, it'll pull something up.
Yeah, I picked a really hard brand. Like if I picked a more well-known brand, it probably would have been a lot easier figuring out all this stuff. But
What did you pick? What's the name of it?
I picked Lux Muse. It's a small, like, I don't know. They're still well established, you know, but they have a small, like, they vend at festivals and stuff.
Okay. Was anybody putting menswear into their collection?
I am.
Okay, because I have a menswear croquis I can put on the module. If you want to use that one. Can you see it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think I printed that. I don't know. Did
Okay.
you?
Got it on there? I haven't put it on there yet.
Okay, yeah. I like that because I have the flat thing.
Yeah.
Like flat, whatever. The flat.
Right. It looks kind of like him, but this one's more a pose, not a straightforward front view. This is a 3/4 view.
Okay. Yeah, I'll enjoy that.
So I'm going to read you a little bit about how a designer designs a collection. So if you're trying to create a design process for your fashion label, here are some things to think about. Who are you designing for? Do not limit your designs because you are designing for every woman or client that represents only 2% of the population. Select your brand target audience to open up your thinking and leave room for creativity. It can be anything from the laid-back student to the 30-year-old living in the city. Where is your customer going? Determine where the customer would wear your clothes. And is she going from classes to family dinners or to work or to city dates? Where is she going to wear your clothing? What inspires you? Once you establish who's wearing your garment and where they're wearing it, you can determine what inspires the pieces. So the customer's destination can be very inspiring, from material to color scheme. Try to find new inspirations that will take you in a new direction. How does the collection tie together? Is your collection cohesive? The difference between it being visually appealing and visually appalling. If you compare it to literature, it's a story that has too many ideas and plots that don't come together with one overall thing. Can leave you crazy. Keep your ideas minimal. Select small things that are in every look. Selecting a consistent color scheme is another element to tie it all together. So I wanted you to come up with 5 colors that create a color story, and then 2 of those different color stories. So it'd actually be 5 of one color theme and another 5. So when I say they're a story, like in one collection, I could have pale blue and burgundy and black and the little green. That might be my color story. And in the other one, I might have all these chili pepper colors, yellow, red, and orange, and a little touch of cinnamon and some brown. And so it's a story. They're each totally different. They each appeal to a different person. The buyer is going to buy both because she loves the combinations and she loves that they're also different. If you make them too much alike, she's only going to buy one. So it helps to research the competitors of the brand you've chosen and see what styles they are doing. And that can help you determine if they have something you don't have that you think you could make better and add it to your collection. Okay. So the vocabulary test is working now. Some of you already got the full amount of points, but now it has the actual multiple choice. So if you haven't done the vocabulary test yet, you can go there and figure it out. I gave you 2 tries. So if you go through the whole test and you miss a few, you can go back and attempt it again and correct it. So this portion of the class is the lab. So I'd like to just go around to each of you and see what you're working on and just give you some tips about what you could do to change it or fix it or pop it up. So are you all game for that? So I'll just go around to each person and you show me what you've been working on and what you have left to do. I didn't hear. Somebody said something?
Sure.
Okay, who wants to go first? Nope.
Latoya, go. I'll go.
I think Daniela was saying something.
Okay.
Right now, I'm working on the mood board and I am searching up Nasty Gal because that is their competitor.
And what line are you using?
Reformation.
Oh, and Nasty Gal's their competitor? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Some European brand.
So what did you choose to use to make your mood board? Are you putting it on a PowerPoint or a Google slide or a Canva?
I'm going to use Photoshop.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
Yeah, membership a month. Might as well use it.
Good. Okay. So what do you have left to finish?
Me?
Yeah.
I have I need to work more on the flats and my main goal right now is to do the mood board because I usually get once the mood board is done, that's everything else will be finished fast.
Okay. Cool.
And then I got the book yesterday, so I'm gonna read more on the flats.
Okay. Great. Perfect. Okay, who'd like to go next?
Oh, I could go.
Okay.
I'm working on my fashion illustration photo. That's the last bit of homework I have.
Okay.
And I'm mostly done with my mood board. Getting all the items for it.
Yeah.
And now I'm about to put them all together.
Okay.
I think tonight or tomorrow I'm gonna start working on. I already like drew out like sketches and descriptions of what I want to make, and like so I visually know what I want to do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start working on. I think I'll start working on my flats tomorrow, or better yet than this evening, because I'm gonna finish my like the mood board and making it more like a presentation type of a thing.
Okay. Very good.
Yeah.
Go to the Staples downtown LA.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm in Connecticut.
Oh, yeah, you're far away. I forgot.
Yeah, I'm hoping to be back there in like 2 weeks.
So the Staples is open. They're not on lockdown. They consider that essential.
I guess so. Yeah, they're open.
That's cool. Anybody else want to share?
Oh, you want to see my fashion piece pictures? Oh, this is, well, I just finished the second. Well, I'm still like tidying it up, but
Okay. Looks good.
this was this girl, the last girl. I was
Right.
trying to make her.
I would make, I don't know if you can see that upper arm, make that curve of the upper arm just a little smaller so it matches the other one.
Make it higher.
No, that one's right. The one you just pointed to. The other one, make the curve at the top of the shoulder a little smaller because it's going down about a whole head. Make it curve only to the bust apex and then stop. And then it goes cylinder. It just,
Oh, right. This side?
yeah, it's curving down too far. Let it stop the curve at the bust apex. The far side. Yeah, that side.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a softer, shorter curve.
Okay.
Okay.
But yeah, I like have to like talk myself into doing them because I'd be like, this is hard. So through the whole time, I'm like, you could do it. You could do it.
That's good.
Yeah. So I'm going to be able to hand those in
Okay, perfect.
hopefully today. All right.
So Haiwan Kim, can you show me your work, what you've been working on?
No, I just started working on the fashion board.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm a little bit confused. The fashion board is connected to you mean the collection board?
It can be. I was trying to give you different options of how to do a mood board, but yes, that can be tied to your brand board. You can put it all together to show the class what you've created.
Or I can create a new brand for the fashion board, and then I can do the fashion brand for the collection.
Right. Right.
Okay. Yeah, I need to search more and then, yeah.
So can you open your video so I can see what you're working on?
Oh, yeah, but I just finished the shoe wheel and then the hands, and then I submitted, so I just started, so there's nothing to show you
Okay.
at the
Okay.
moment.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so who's next? Chris, can you show me what you're working on?
Yeah, I was just about to get started on the brand board. I finished all my assignments. I uploaded them already. So that's the one I'm getting started on.
Okay, good. That's good.
I've been doing research on the brand that I told you.
Yeah.
But it's all just putting it all together right now. I'm gonna do it on a Word document.
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
So, Charmaine, what are you working on now?
I finished the photo illustration. I can send you a picture of it.
Okay.
And then I sent you the other thing. I
Okay.
just have to do the shoe wheels and I'll be done with my homework.
Oh,
And
good.
then I already started saving stuff to make my brand board
Okay.
and for my mood board as well.
Okay, good. Good. Okay, so who do I have left? Leslie, what are you working on?
I'm still, well, right now I'm working on the hands, which I've been having trouble with. I'm just basically trying to catch up with homework. Kind of been busy with work, so I think I'm like falling behind.
Ouch. Okay, thank you. Do you want me to review some hands?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Okay, I'll do some review of hands. This is my bond paper.
And you want all the homework to be due today, right?
Yeah, yes, homework should be turned in today so you can be working on your collection on the weekend. We have a variety of hands. I'll be putting these handouts on the module. There's another hand. And here's another hand. Now, let's see if you can see it better. So they're all little trapezoid shapes.
Miss Rad.
Yeah.
For the it says for the week 5 class due that one. I submitted my back view pose. Like I've been did that one. I think unless I put it in a different one, but yeah. Yeah, I did it. I thought the like back view pose like of the whole body.
So you think it's in a different assignment?
No, I thought I submitted it. I don't know. Like I'm looking this. I don't.
Let me see if I can. Who am I talking with?
Latoya.
Latoya. Let me go look. See if I can.
Cause I don't know. Like I looked. Now I'm looking. I got 10. I did that one. It's closed now. Like it's closed, but I did all of them. Like
Okay.
I did the back
Well,
view
first I
pose.
can open it, so it's not a problem, and then I'll figure out if it's in a different assignment.
I could just hand it in again, like I have it in
Yeah.
my phone.
I'll go into the assignment, and I will open it. So, what is the assignment called? See if I can.
It's called first week class due date 5. Class first week.
I have day 5 classwork. You think it's that one? Oh,
It
no.
says,
First day croaky due day 5.
no, it says first week classwork due day 5.
Okay, got it. Okay, I'll go in there and I'll edit it. And first I'll change the due date.
Okay.
They're gonna call me one day and like, why are you always changing your due date? I said, because I'm learning this whole thing here, how to do these. Okay, okay, I changed that. Now now I go over to Latoya.
Well, then I'll
I'll look
sketch figure.
What's the title again? One more time.
It's hold on. Oh, you already did it. You did it.
I did it. Okay.
Mhm.
So I didn't need to change the due date. That's okay. I'll leave it.
Yeah, you opened it back up. I'm about to just resubmit it.
Okay. Oh, it's in there or it's not in there?
It's not, but I'm gonna just send it again. I don't know why it's not, because that's something I did a while, like that was something I did a while ago.
Yeah. So it's called day 5. Is it day 5 3/4 figure? Or
Oh, I must have forgot. I didn't put it because I don't even have it in my thing. It's my fault. I didn't, I must have didn't take a picture of it.
no.
Because
Okay.
I'm like, I know I did it. I'm like, that one's an old one.
Oh, it's the first week classroom day 5. So why couldn't I find it in grades? First week classwork day 5. There it is.
Yeah, submit.
Okay, back to grades.
Okay, I submitted it.
Okay, cool. First week classwork day 5, and it's Latoya.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go to B grader and see. Now we know how long it takes to get it in.
Yeah. I have another question.
The back view, right?
No, that's Latoya.
No, it's the back view, right? That you just posted.
Yes.
Yeah. What's your question?
Oh, just for day 5 classwork, in my comments, it just, I wanted to, I didn't know which one I should redo, for those assignments so that I could get like a better grade.
What's the name of the assignment?
Day 5 classwork.
Okay, I'll go look at it. Okay, so let's see, day 5 classwork. Classwork Latoya. Okay, I'm opening it and I'm gonna look at it. So it says, okay, so you missed 1 point on each one. So the third
Okay.
3/4 figure, you either have to raise the scalp or lower the eyes, one or the other, to get the eyes halfway between the head, so that the head scalp is half away and then from the eyes down is half away. So the choice is either lower the eyes or raise the scalp so that the eyes are in the middle.
Okay. So, okay.
Yeah. Man. Oh, I wanted you to lower the eyes on the man and make his chest a little bit more V-shaped. Right now it's a little more rectangular.
So lower eyes.
So do
You
you,
said
I wrote all this in the comments. Do you see it in the comments?
no.
Oh, you don't see it.
No. In the comments, all I see is it says good shading and line quality. Your sketches are good. More practice and
Okay,
you will shine.
but
I don't see.
I'm gonna have to go to Student View to see what you see, but in mine, where I put the points, it all
Oh, and rubrics. Okay. Okay. I'm learning. Okay. If I click on, because in comments is one thing, but if you click, okay, on rubric,
yeah.
on the word rubric is something. Oh, okay. I didn't see any of these in any of my stuff.
Okay, so now you can fix it. Okay,
Okay. Thank you.
cool. See, I'm learning too, so we're learning together. That's cool.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know any of, like, I didn't know that part existed.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right.
So I'll go back to some more hands. I like this little picture of hands because it's breaking it down to simple shapes. So I'll put these on the module. I think it's just easier to know how to do these shapes when you've broken it down into simple shapes like this. Okay, so I'm going to make a copy of that for you. And a simple hand. So 6 fingers is really crazy. Did you see that? I have to laugh at myself. How I got an extra finger in there.
Miss Rat, can you scoot the camera over a little bit?
Oh, so you didn't get to see what I did? I made 6 fingers.
No.
Yeah, I made 6 fingers instead of 5. And then I finished it and looked at it, and then I counted it and realized that I made too many fingers. So I'm doing this one step by step. So now I'm trying to figure out why it looks so weird.
This is on the module, that handout.
These are new.
Oh, can you put that on the module?
Yeah, I will.
Please. Thank you.
Yeah, I had several that I've got here. I have this one, and this one. I have several new ones. So yes, when you get done with this class, that whole thing will be filled with helpful handouts. Okay. The palm. And which one am I doing? This one? Maybe I should do it like this. It'd be easier to see it. I think my camera there keeps lifting. Siri, are you in here? Where is my phone? Okay.
Could you maybe do a sample on how to draw rings?
Yeah. Siri, play the song I Want to Hold Your Hand.
Ah!
Siri, play the song I Want to Hold Your Hand. Okay, got a little theme music. Wait, what did I do? I hit the button.
I'm sorry.
I know, me too.
I can't see it, Miss Rad.
If that light does any help. That one might help more. So I did one. I did this one.
Those wings look nice.
Cool, huh? It's a hand wheel. Oh, I got a good song. Siri, play the song Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend.
You're so funny.
Glad to die for love. Take a light in fighting duels. But I prefer a man who lives and gives expensive jewels. A kiss on the hand may be quite continental, but diamonds are a girl's best friend. A kiss may be grand, but it won't pay the rental on your humble flat or help you at the automat. Men grow cold as girls grow old, and we all lose our charms in the end. But square cut or pear shape, these rocks don't lose their shape. Diamonds are a girl's best friend. Tiffany's, Cartier, Black Star, Ross Gore. Talk to me, Harry Winston, tell me all about it.
Hey, class, can you hear me?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, what happened?
My computer got low on battery, and so the picture faded. So now I'm trying to restart my computer, and hopefully I can get in. I'm not sure. Okay, so let's see if it'll, yeah, luckily I wrote down the meeting number. So hopefully I can get back in. We'll see if this way works. See, we all are learning. Okay, that didn't work. I have to figure out how to get in through Canvas. Okay, let's see. But you didn't lose the picture of me sketching, did you? Let's see, I think this is my class.
I'm on the screen where you were sketching, and all I just see like the backs. Like there's backs.
This? Oh wait, hold on. My phone. I gotta connect it. There. Sorry. Okay. So I got two devices on. I'm trying to figure out how to turn this sound off.
On the phone, there's that little, oh, you did it. Never mind.
There. I turned off the phone sound. So I think they're back. All these technical difficulties. I don't know what that little thing is. I must hide it in the corner. Okay. I can still hear my voice.